Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Do It Yourself Budget Hot Rodding and the miniseries known as The Icon, The Legend, and The Record. If you've kept up with this miniseries, you know what's about to take place as we get closer to time. Let's do a quick recap of what we have discussed here on the Prince Magnum channel pertaining to this miniseries. The first thing that we discussed is the history behind the record, where the stretch of road is, what it takes to actually do the run, as far as technique and what you have to do to not crash your vehicle, and things along those lines. We also discussed in another video which project car is going to be handling the task of breaking the record that I originally set back in 1998 and broke in 2005 and to my knowledge has not been touched. In the third video, we discussed where Project Spirit's going to have to be, where changes are going to have to be made, and what it's going to take for Project Spirit to be up to the challenge. And in this video, by now, many of you are asking the question, why are you going to do this, Prince Magnum? Okay, this is one of the questions that has come up. Why are you doing this? And the answer is simple. I'm showing you video footage of my old hometown, the Arcadia Valley area. Okay, and the town that I technically come from is Pilot Knob, Missouri, where the historical Fort Davidson still resides, a Civil War battle site. To my knowledge, the only one in the state of Missouri. That being said, this is the area that I come from, okay? This is my old hometown. And I still have a lot of friends from high school. Many of us still keep up with each other. But as of recent, we've experienced where a lot of our old high school classmates have passed on. And unfortunately, a lot of us are feeling old because of that, because so many of us have passed on, from kind of around the same, high school graduation time. I graduated in 1997, and a lot of us have passed on, from around that time frame. We're feeling old because of it. And honestly, I'm coming up on 40, and 40 is really not that old. I mean, it's not exactly a spring chicken, but it's not that old. So, as a reminder to all of my old classmates, we can still grab life by the horns. We can still go out and tackle things and do things as if we were still in our 20s. Maybe not as well as we once did in our 20s, but we still got a lot of life left in us. And I want to remind my classmates that we still got a lot of life to live. Okay? So, don't start thinking that you're too dang old. I mean, I might joke about it, but I know I've got a lot of life left in me. I'm not exactly a spring chicken, but I'm not exactly, got one foot in the grave, if you know what I mean. Another reason why I'm doing this is because, I started my own extra life team, and I also named it the Maverick Nation. Now, I guess you could say here on the Prince Magnum channel, there's two Maverick Nations. There's the one that when you hit that subscribe button, you just became a member of the Maverick Nation. Okay, that's, I guess you could say, the Prince Magnum channel's own following. The people that back the Prince Magnum channel and say that it's a force to be reckoned with, whether it's just on YouTube or in the world abroad. The Maverick Nation here on YouTube is that force that says that, that says the Prince Magnum channel means something. But on Extra Life, the Maverick Nation is the group of the group of people that go out and find ways to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. Now, the Children's Miracle Network obviously is, the hospitals up in St. Louis, and those kids face scary diseases every day. I could not imagine what it would be like to be in the shoes of those parents. I couldn't imagine it if that was one of my children facing life and death. So because of this, I believe that I can face kind of a dangerous scenario for those children, okay? If it inspires someone to open their wallet, I don't care if it's just for $1. That's $1 going to help children to find, so they can get out of the bed and get out there and work on their own projects. Yes, the Prince Magnum channel has at its disposal, we have, the video game streams and things like that. But if you always hear me say, it, get out there and work on a project. Well, some of these kids can't get out there and work on a project. They're stuck in bed, facing scary diseases. So the DIY stuff will be there for them. But in order for them to be able to get out of that bed, we got to be willing to open our wallets. And if facing danger like this inspires you to open up your wallet for those children, then by golly, I don't care what it takes. I don't care what happens that day. It's all worth it for the kids. And that's where I stand on that. So, I know by now, many of you are asking the question, okay, Prince Magnum, this is the real deal. This is the Prince Magnum that we back because that's the passion. That's the excitement. That's the heart of what makes you Prince Magnum. So the question remains. All that being said, have you at least taken the precaution and made sure that Project Spirit can handle a run like this? And the answer is absolutely 100%. You all should know me better than that by now. Yes, I've taken Project Spirit on kind of a test run long before this series came out. Let me give you a little back history. I was kind of, I had to make a trip down to the Ironton area to kind of help a friend of mine from high school. Her name is Belinda, and she was having some car issues and things like that. And I hooked up with good old T-Bone, and him and I went down, and we kind of, did what we could, and got her car running right, and got it all fixed up and running pretty smooth. By the way, the nickname of her car is Lemon Drop, just because it's in that rough a shape. So, we got Lemon Drop running smooth and efficiently and that sort of thing. So now, I'm getting ready to head back home. By now, Princess Faye is worried if I'm going to be okay and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, no problem. And I'm still rolling on Project Spirit's original front drums. And I'm, kind of going along the road, and there is that stretch of road. There it is, standing there right in front of me. At this point, I'm just going to let the video footage that you all have not seen with Project Spirit on that stretch of road, I'm going to let the video footage do the talking, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, folks, let's talk about the video clip that you just seen. The time code is accurate in that clip. And if you've kept up with the Prince Magnum channel, this is before we made the front disc brake conversion. At this time, during the video clip that you just seen, Project Spirit is still rolling on her original front drum brakes. Now, for the record, I like drum brakes. They stop very, very well. The problem is that I had a hub wearing out on the passenger side of Project Spirit, and you'd be going down the road and you can hear this kind of funny little grinding noise, and she didn't quite handle as well as she should have. So, that being said, if I had made that, went ahead and tried to make that run like I did in the old days on that front drum brake system with the hub wearing out on the passenger side, there was a likelihood that I could have had it break a spindle and Project Spirit's front tire and wheel could have came off and it had been a very horrible accident. That is definitely not what we want to do. That's not what we're going for here. So it just stood to reason not to push her. This is just kind of a test run, if you will, to kind of see where she stands. The other problem that you have to take in is, again, front drum brakes do stop. They do stop a vehicle very, very well. The problem is how they stop a vehicle. With disc brakes, you don't have to worry about this issue, but when you go to apply your brakes, a lot of times one side will heat up quicker than the other side. So we'll say that I go to make a regular traffic stop on the original front drum brakes that Project Spirit had, and we'll say that the passenger side started heating up quicker than the other side. So now she's pulling towards the driver's side. Well, now the driver's side heats up a little bit more than the passenger side, so now she's pulling the other way. So, if you will, you'll get this back and forth as you go to apply your brakes to make a regular traffic stop. However, this changes the moment that you go to put on the brakes for a hard stop. If someone pulls out in front of you really hard and doesn't give you a whole lot of time to, slam on the brakes. With disc brakes, this isn't an issue, but with drum brakes, that back and forth motion now makes it very dangerous. It's real easy to lose control if you're not careful. So, knowing all of these little factors with Project Spirit, it definitely was not in the cards for me to actually drop the hammer coming around that corner and really pushing Project Spirit to the limit. So, this was just kind of a test run to give me an idea. So, that being said, on this test run, how did Project Spirit do? And that's real easy. Ironically enough, I managed to get Project Spirit up to 48 miles per hour. Folks, this is impressive by no stretch of the imagination. And let me explain. The vehicle that set the original record back in 1998 was my 1978 Camaro, known as Blue Thunder. Blue Thunder had a 400 cubic inch small block Chevrolet V8. Folks, those 400 small blocks were no slouches by any stretch of the imagination. Along with that, the car that currently, to my knowledge, holding the record is my 1977 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royale that had a Chevrolet 350 in. That record that car set is at 55 miles per hour. Again, folks, let me tell you that stretch of road, yes, you could probably get your vehicle up faster, but you might want to make sure that you leave enough room to shut down. So, these vehicles were no slouches by any stretch of the imagination, and Project Spirit could easily surpass the record that was set back in 2005 at 55 miles an hour with an inline six. That is impressive if you ask this guy right here. Okay, so now that we've established that Project Spirit is capable of actually doing this, the next step is obviously getting ready to make this run, because we're going to try to break the record and leave it sitting at 60 miles an hour or better. Okay? So, there you have it. Now, to answer everybody's question, when am I going to make this run? August the 7th, 2019, on my 40th birthday. Again, I'm not just doing this as some sort of glory hound sort of thing. I'm doing this so hopefully all of you will be inspired to donate to the Children's Miracle Network, and to remind all of us who are starting to get some years on us that we may not necessarily be spring chickens anymore, but we can still grab life by the horns and, that sort of thing. All right. That brings us to a spot that I want to go ahead and kind of shut this down before I begin rambling. So, if you want to become a member of the Prince Magnum Channel's Extra Life team, go to Extra Life and look up the Maverick Nation and become a member and help us raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. Along with that, if you're wanting to donate to the Prince Magnum Channel directly, and kind of help, help with the development of the channels and the development of the project cars, go to patreon.com, and it's patreon.com/Prince Magnum, and you are more than welcome to donate if you would like. Not necessarily a requirement, but if you would like to. Also, be sure to check out my partner, Mr. Sketch Scars himself, on Sketch Squad TV. He is the pioneer of 4G LTE mobile live streaming. And, as usual, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is, just do something with yourself. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, if no one out there has told you that they love you, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.
You done messed up, Aaron. Now take your ass on down to Oshag Hennessy's office right now and tell him exactly what you did. Get out of my goddamn classroom before I break my foot off in your ass. Insubordinate and churlish.